If you're trying to figure out how to build a culture of accountability that actually works, stop looking for a team building exercise. Accountability is not a feeling or a skill. It's an operating system. And when you treat accountability as just a mindset, well, you end up getting missed deadlines. And it looks like, engineering blames sales or sales is blaming marketing. Marketing, of course, they're going to blame the economy. And a leadership team where no one owns the results. See, the problem isn't your people's work ethic. The problem is your leadership mechanics. In this video, you'll discover the Triad of Accountability. This is the exact framework executive leaders use to eliminate that gray zone and stop the blame game forever. Now, stay to the end because you'll uncover the single biggest trap leaders fall into, something I call the results trap, and why managing by outcomes alone might actually be creating the conditions for a huge problem in your team. Now, here's the reality. When you actually have a culture of accountability, you don't have to micromanage. Hands off happens. Risks are flagged early and course corrections happen without you getting involved. And that is the goal. To get there, you're going to have to master the triad of accountability. And it consists of three specific systems. First, you'll construct mechanics that make failure impossible to hide. Then we'll unlock the mindset that drives people to hold themselves accountable. And then finally, you'll embody the model, establishing those standards by demonstrating them personally. Now, I learned this commanding operations in the Navy and running 4 different companies. And when you align these three, performance becomes predictable. And when you don't, you get chaos. So mechanics are the foundation of this framework. And so let's dig into that first. By mechanics, what I mean is all the full set of policies, processes, procedures, job descriptions, career path, decision rights, and strategic plans that define how your company actually runs day to day. And if your organization were a world-class franchise, mechanics would be the complete franchise manual. But most franchise manuals are missing 3 critical elements that actually drive accountability. The first is clear expectations. Now, this is a universal requirement for every single initiative. You must define the intent. What does success look like? And you do that before you assign the task. The second is the accountability map. Execution failures frequently happen between teams. It's in the seams. And this is where you hear things like, well, I thought they had it. So to fix the seams, you need an accountability map. And this is a simple one-page document for every initiative that lists the owner, the dependencies, and the definition of done. Third, you need a communication rhythm designed to spot and resolve problems early. So if you don't have these mechanics, you're relying on hope. And frankly, hope is neither a strategy nor a course of action. So here's a specific way you can start fixing these issues today. Look at all your projects and initiatives right now and ask yourself, is there one specific person's name next to each one? In other words, is there somebody you've pointed out and said, this is your project, you're responsible to see this across the finish line? If the answer is no, it's assigned to the sales team or leadership in general, well, that's a miss. Go ahead and assign one specific person's name. Now, before we move on, I also want you to ask yourself a hard question. Can your direct reports articulate the intent of their current project? Or are they just following your instructions? If they can't articulate the intent, make sure that's clear to them. This way they can adapt. I'm curious, where's the gray zone in your organization? Is it between sales and operations, engineering and marketing? Let me know in the comments where the seams are breaking. And if you're getting value from this approach to leadership, go ahead, hit the like so that other leaders can also get value, and subscribe so you never miss any of my videos. Now, where mechanics create clarity, it's the mindset that creates ownership. But let's be clear. Mindset, I'm not talking about motivation. I don't care if my team is motivated. I care if they are aligned. In a culture of accountability, people don't follow standards because you're watching them. They follow standards because they understand the mission and they are passionate about serving it. See, the biggest killer of accountability is when a team member feels that their work is disconnected from the outcome. And when people don't see that downstream impact, they're prone to cut corners. So if an engineer delays a release by 2 days, they might think, it's just 2 days. And they don't see how sales missed a closing window, or customer success is fielding angry calls, or the company may have just lost some major revenue streams. They don't know. So you have to make the downstream impact visible. In my coaching practice, I have my clients walk the work. They sit down with their teams and they ask, when we finish this, who gets it next? What breaks if we are late? And when you do this, what you'll often find is you're doing work that no one downstream actually needs. This is the fastest way to identify bloat and streamline your processes. And when a team member understands the impact, well, accountability shifts. It stops being about compliance and starts being about their obligation to the rest of the team, to the tribe. So, in your next monthly review, don't just talk about the results, talk about impact. Ask, because we hit this target, what improved for the customer? Or, how did this impact them if we missed the target? Go through that. That's when it's going to really start to hit home. Now, check your own team's awareness right now. Do your people know who pays the price when they cut a corner? Now, you can have perfect mechanics and, frankly, a great mindset, and you can still destroy the culture in 5 minutes. How? By being a hypocrite. See, modeling is the third pillar. And as a leader, you don't reinforce standards by talking about them. You reinforce them by what you tolerate in others and yourself. For example, if the company has a core value of respect, but you tolerate a high performer who treats people like garbage just because they bring in revenue, you have a problem. Because you are the leader, your values are the company's values. And by tolerating that behavior, you have just announced that the company's actual value is money. And respect, well, they're just words on the wall. See, accountability is not something you demand from others. It's the standard you set when you demonstrate it personally. Your behavior sets the ceiling for the organization because no one will ever be more accountable than you are. So here's the test. When you make a mistake, do you own it? Do you say, I was wrong? Here is how I am going to fix it. Or do you make excuses? Now, if you are spinning your failures, what I promise you, your team's going to hide theirs. So my next suggestion may take some courage, and it changes everything. State your commitments to your team in your weekly meetings. If you miss one, that's fine. You're human, but apologize publicly. Reset the expectation. Don't miss it again, and then show them that no one is above the standard. And be honest with yourself on the next point. Are you holding your favorites to the same standard as everyone else? If the answer is no, think about changing that. Now, I promise you, I tell you about the trap that destroys culture, and it's called the results trap. This is when you judge performance solely on the outcome rather than the decisions and behaviors that got you there. See, we don't control outcomes. We only control our activities and decisions. So if you only reward on the final score, you might be rewarding a lucky gambler. He took a reckless risk and it just happened to pay off. Worse, you might be punishing a great team member who made the right decision, but they got hit by bad luck. Think about Enron. They had great outcomes until they didn't. So if you want true accountability, stop just looking at the scoreboard. Start reviewing the decision making. Did they follow the intent? Did they respect the constraints? And this is how you build a team that wins for the long haul. Join the Radical Accountability Movement. Watch the next video right here and subscribe so you never miss a tactical breakthrough with Locked On Leadership.